I've seen a better performance from this dog in this movie than a lot of people in movies. Love and monsters. I don't even know where to start with this movie. So before I get to the movie, first, this came in actually as a viewer suggestion that I went and watched from David Davids. Don't think it's his real name. But thank you so much for, one, throwing out a suggestion for me, and two, specifically this suggestion, because I had a lot of fun with this movie. I'll be honest, I put this movie off when I'd first seen it popping up. You know, you've seen kind of thumbnails, various footage for it. I thought it was going to be just quite a run-of-the-mill rom-com with some monsters in it. I was so unhappily wrong on that one. So the plot is pretty straightforward. We're following Joel, and the world has been taken over by monsters. They're like souped up versions of just normal everyday animals that we have now. There was just a bomb had went off and they've all just evolved effectively. So it's 7 years on since then. It started off quite stereotypical, just your geek, not very good at fighting, just didn't know his place within this apocalypse for what is a comedy. If you think kind of Jesse Eisenberg playing in Zombieland, kind of similar to that. And as the film went on, I really enjoyed the actor playing Joel as well as just the character. I thought it was really good. He had a lot of fun with it, it looked like, and he was fantastic to watch. So he's working kind of the radio within the bunker within his group, just finding other communities that are survived, linking in with them effectively. It doesn't go into detail what comes from these calls, if it's supply runs, support, but they're all in their own bunkers, but through the radio comms they've got this kind of community built up. But just before the apocalypse, he obviously went separate ways from his girlfriend purely to survive. She went with her family, he went with his, and we're 7 years on and he's finally heard her voice come through the radio. So not knowing his place, he decides to go to her bunker. It's going to take about a week to get there. He knows nothing of survival. Even the community he's in put him down for fighting. They know he's not competent at it. He sets out, he's sick of where he's at and he wants to go. So quite quickly he bumps into my favourite character in this movie, and that's Boy, the dog. Holy hell, is this dog incredible and fantastic actor. I've seen a better performance from this dog in this movie than a lot of people in movies. The closest I can think of to this dog is the dog from Resident Evil 4. If you save that trap at the start, and why wouldn't you? He comes in for one of the boss fights. That's what this dog is like, but in just movie form, and he's funny, weirdly, although the dog isn't saying anything. The kind of reactions they get from the dog, it's edited really well. Anytime the dog was in the scene, I was just loving it. I'm a big dog person, and this dog was fantastic. So he now has a buddy for this journey, and he's still trekking out. They of course come into some bother, which is going to happen, and this is where the movie really takes off for me anyway, more than seeing the dog in it. Joel bumps into Yondu, who's got a girl with him, and they save his life. They agree to take him with them for a while because they're on the same route, but then they're going to have to split off, and he just gets taught ways to survive. What was thankfully the way they went with this character, he wasn't like your hard ass character you get often in these movies that they come across that's teaching them the ways of the world because they've lost people and so they're just dicks, but then towards the end you realise they're not quite a dick, they're quite nice. He was just lovely in this, and before I forget to say, the chemistry between every single character was amazing and on point. That's what I want to see. Not only does Yondu have it with the girl he's got, but they all have it with the main character Joel. Hell, the dog has it with everyone because it's a dog. But then Joel with his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, his community, her and her community, and they all feel like they're friends or they've lived through this together. So I don't want to show throughout this video any of the kind of monsters, bar one, just to give you an idea, because the frog is the first one we run across, and it is incredible to see what they've done. They all felt like kind of Dark Souls bosses for me. I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, and every boss in they're not bosses, every monster in here felt like it could fit into a Dark Souls boss arena. And one of these monsters, without saying who or what or too much, but the sound design is fucking tremendous. There was this weird click, like a predator click sort of noise. I can't do it, you know what I mean when I say that, when it's kind of tracking or hunting, and it is so terrifying. So the film balances its comedy with its action, with its suspense really well, and the way that it navigates each style and genre is really impressive to me. It was really impressive how they managed to capture this, and they can go to each one whenever they want, but it never feels cheap. It's always done in a really nice way, a very seamless way. I'm going to call bullshit on one thing. I know I'm singing the movie's praises. That grenade throw that he throws at one point in the movie. If you've seen Die Hard 2, you know what I mean when I mention about the grenade throws and why I'm calling bullshit on them. They take the pin out and throw it. In Die Hard 2, it is ridiculous. They throw grenades in the cockpit and they seem to last about 2 minutes before they explode. Here, a little bit longer than I needed it to last, especially because the movie made a point of telling you about it and then goes on to not stick to that time. But other than that, it's a really small nitpick. So where you think it's going to go is obviously Joel finding his girlfriend again, but the movie's not over at that point. So although it did come out a year ago, I don't want to spoil this for anybody. So what I will say is, yes, he's en route to find his girlfriend, but the movie doesn't end as you might expect it to. This is not a cliche movie. It doesn't just go towards stereotypes and make the easy writing choices and pick an ending like that. I really enjoyed watching Joel's journey through characters he's interact with and the dog. The scene with Mavis, I just need to throw it in there, heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking, and fucking loved it. Fucking loved the scene with Mavis. Moving on. There is narration at the start of the movie, and at first it annoyed me. I'm not a big fan of just narration for the sake of it, but the intro credits were funny because it was showing you him talking about how this all started, and it was all done through drawings of his. And that's quite a plot point in the movie, is that he's kind of creating a survival book for the new world and drawing the monsters he sees and noting any weaknesses they've got, any strengths that they've got, or kind of best techniques to deal with these monsters, which are friendly, which are aggressive. So they've used, again, it's something they do really well in the movie, where him drawing and being artistic is a plot point in a few different ways, and it never feels shoehorned in. It never feels like they're just thrown back to it for the sake of it. It's relevant, it fits the story really well, and it fits her character really well also. There's so much more I want to say about this, but that would be then leading into spoilers, which I'm really not wanting to do. So where I lie on this movie is quite simple. I've sung its praises throughout, and it's going to land on me is just change your plans for this movie. That is the best I can rate it. Hell, if you were looking for an excuse to not do something, here is your excuse. David did it for me, suggesting it. Hopefully if you've not seen the movie, I can do the same for you. You'll have a great time. It's funny. It's got a lot of heart to it. Great action. It looks fantastic. The monsters are great in this movie. And the chemistry and the dialogue, I felt, was just on point. And this was a film that I was not going into expecting much from as well, so it really blew me away. Okay, so that's my thoughts and feelings on Love and Monsters. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought down below. You agree with me? Do you not? Tell me why. If there's any movies that you've seen you'd like to see me maybe review, discuss, or just share some thoughts on, let me know what that is below. And while you're down there, kick the fuck out that like button. It would be fantastic to see that. But thank you so much for watching.